Recent analyses of the internal structures and financial practices of Dr. Muhammad Yunus's organizations have uncovered significant discrepancies and evolving policies within these institutions. The following report details key findings. Organizational structural inconsistencies. Under Dr. Yunus's leadership, institutions such as Grameen Bank, Grameen Kalyan, and Grameen Telecom have shown considerable variations in their foundational structures. Formation and funding mechanisms. Initial establishment principles were often aligned with world development objectives. However, over time, the mechanisms for fund distribution, including the creation and management of funds like the SAF Fund and SFIC, reveal inconsistencies. The allocation and reallocation of these funds have raised concerns about transparency and accountability. Institutional autonomy and coordination. There is clear evidence that internal coordination between different branches has deteriorated. The evolving roles of various advisory bodies and the divergent approaches in policy implementation point toward a need for comprehensive restructuring to ensure uniform operational standards across all institutions. Shifts in internal policies and administrative reforms. The evolution of internal policies within these organizations reflects a transition in management strategies and operational focus. Policy revisions and leadership transitions. The changes in internal governance, exemplified by the gradual shift in policy frameworks and the reorganization of leadership structures, have led to operational ambiguities. For instance, the strategic move to realign the management of Grameen Kalyan and Grameen Telecom suggests that earlier, well-defined objectives have given way to a more complex, sometimes fragmented decision-making process. Financial practices and loan management. Reports indicate that the methods of loan disbursement and interest imputation, such as the imputed interest scheme implemented in the 1990s, have been inconsistently applied. The lack of a unified financial protocol has not only affected investor confidence, but has also raised questions about the long-term sustainability of these financial practices. Challenges in internal oversight and governance. The institutions under Dr. Yunus have experienced challenges related to oversight and the formulation of governance policies. Advisory and oversight mechanisms. Multiple advisory committees and internal review boards have reported difficulties in enforcing a consistent policy framework. In some instances, conflicting advice from internal consultants and external auditors has resulted in fragmented policy measures, further complicating the overall management of these institutions. Implications for long-term institutional stability. The identified discrepancies are not merely administrative oversights. They have broader implications for the sustainability and credibility of Dr. Yunus's institutions. Implications for long-term institutional stability. The identified discrepancies are not merely administrative oversights. They have broader implications for the sustainability and credibility of Dr. Yunus's institutions. Financial stability and accountability. The irregularities in fund management and the inconsistent application of financial policies have raised concerns regarding the long-term financial stability of these institutions. Stakeholders are increasingly calling for clearer accountability measures to safeguard the institution's assets and future growth. Policy transparency and reforms. In light of these findings, there is an urgent need for policy transparency. Implementing a centralized governance model may help in unifying the various operational facets of the institutions, thus ensuring that financial and administrative practices are in line with both national objectives and international standards. The structural and operational discrepancies within Dr. Muhammad Yunus's institutions highlight a critical period of transition. With significant shifts in internal policies, financial practices, and governance models, these institutions face the challenge of aligning their initial mission with current operational realities. Comprehensive reforms including enhanced transparency, standardized procedures, and centralized oversight are essential to restore stakeholder confidence and secure the long-term stability of these organizations.